everybody, it's Rain, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I scour a really nasty, disgusting fleece. If you like raw wool and you purchase some every now and again, you might end up getting a nasty one like this. Although this one was free for me, I'm still going to show you how, if you get one like this, you can turn it into something absolutely gorgeous. So all you need is a container to scour in. I use a 15-gallon tote, as you can see in the video, and 2 mesh laundry bags. Now this is about a 4.5 to 5 pound fleece, so I would recommend washing it separately, but I really wanted to get it all done in one wash, and that's what I did. I just pulled it out of the bag and I threw it in a mesh laundry bag. Now this washing technique here, it is very similar to what you would get from a meal if you got scoured wool. So if you've ever purchased scoured wool, you know that there can be some VM and some dirt left in the tips, but the lanolin will be all gone. And also, with this technique, I feel like it's not as damaging like a meal is. Like, the lock structure is a lot more present than if it had come from a scoured meal or something like that. So I actually prefer to do it by hand than to get it scoured from a meal, because their scouring process is very rough on the fleece. It gets all the lanolin out and quite a bit of the dirt, but it also compromises the lock structure a lot too. Alright, so I've got it all in my mesh laundry bags. I'm gonna stuff it in there and take it to my wash tub. Now, if you have a little bit more time, you can go through and pick apart the fleece, and I would recommend doing that. But if you're like me, I just threw it in there and I take it apart as I'm washing it. So in this first wash, there's no soap. It's just a rinse with hot scouring water. Check this out. Oh, look at that. That's nasty. Look. Ew. So I decided to make sure I put my gloves on. Like I said, this is just hot water, hot scouring water. There's no soap in here at all. I always recommend doing a hot scouring water soak for about 20 or 30 minutes before you add your water, especially if you have a really nasty fleece like this. So I'm just pushing down all the wool under the water, and I'm going to let it soak for about 20 to 30 minutes to let it start breaking up some of that lanolin, because there is a lot of it, and there's a lot of dirt and mud and filth in this fleece. And here's our result. It was really hard to wring these bags out because they were so heavy where the wool was wet in there. So that's why I recommend doing a smaller batch if you can. But like today, I just didn't have time. I needed to get this fleece washed. And by wringing out, I don't mean actually twisting it, I just mean squeezing it. And then I use my bucket to get the majority of the water out of the tub, out of the bin, so that I don't destroy my back trying to pick the whole tub up and throw it out. This is how I dump my water. So after you finish your first soak, you want to break up your fleece a little bit. Open your mesh laundry bag and just start pulling apart lock structures. I added some soap, and that first one that I pulled apart, I went ahead and put it in, and I'm going to show you how I break it up a little bit better in this shot right here while this one is soaking. You just open it up and you start pulling apart lock structures. There's no real rhyme or reason to this. You just want to get that fleece broke up a little bit so that any little stuck bits of lanolin can be exposed to the hot water and melt. And that's all you're doing here. Then I'm just going to throw it in here, push it under the water, get them all nice and situated, put the lid on, and let it soak for about another 30 minutes. And here's our result. This is after the first rinse, and this is after the first wash. As you can see, that water is still very lanolin heavy, so we're going to wash again. I use Ivory dish soap because it's cheap and it's good for dirty fleeces. I don't want to use my Unicorn Power Scour unless I'm washing a really fine fleece. You can look back and see how much soap I actually use per wash. Give it a little stir. I'm going to throw that bad boy in for a third time. This is our second wash with soap, but we did rinse it once. So one rinse, and this is our second wash. Third time in the hot scour water. I put the lid on and let it soak for 30 minutes, and this is the result after the second wash. Third time in the water. I just want to say, if you haven't checked out my YouTube playlist of how to wash raw fiber, check it out in the cards. I'll list it right here. And here's what we're left with so far. I don't think I washed it again. I think I just did 2 more hot scour rinses. Yeah, there's no soap in this last one. So after that second wash, it was the third time in the water, I just did a hot scour rinse times 2. And the reason why I did that is because usually 2 scours, and it was a third in the water, third time being in the water since I soaked it, and the water was getting more clear after that third soak, so I just went ahead and rinsed it after that because there is no lanolin left. It's just dirt at this point. As you could see how clear that water was, it was starting to get transparent. It's just a little bit of dirt that's left over. So I rinsed it 2 more times in hot scouring water to get any remaining lanolin off. And now I've just got it in my bin empty with no water in there. And I'm going to take it and squeeze it. I'm not going to wring it or twist it. I'm just going to squeeze the excess water out. And I'm going to go lay it on a towel on my desk. And I hope to get a drying rack pretty soon. Those things are hard to come by. I lay down 2 towels that are only used for wool on my desk, and I'll just lay them on top of that with a fan blowing on it. And it usually takes, since I did so much wool, it probably will take about 3 or 4 days to dry. With a fan blowing on it the whole time, it might take a little bit less, maybe around 2 or 3 days. So I just picked it apart a little bit, separated it, and every day I come in here and flip it over and put the wet parts up top, because the water just falls down through the wool onto the towel, and you want to flip the wool and also change your towel regularly. And I only use these towels for wool. So here's my hand for reference of how big this fleece is. And I do want to show you, with this fleece, it was quite a long staple length, so I was worried about the tips, and it turns out they are compromised. So we're going to have a lot of waste when we go to process all this. But I'll show you, even with the tips breaking off like this, it is still a very beautiful fleece in the end. Wait till you see this. Here is a few photos of it after it's been washed and dried. There's some of the lock structures. They're beautiful, they're still intact, ready to be flicked. And here is a portion of the wool that I flicked. I flicked the tips. There's your before flicking, and after flicking. And I'm going to comb this section right here. Got it ready. Show you what you get. Look at this gorgeousness. I honestly was blown away. I really wasn't expecting this to turn into this. Like, it is so soft and squishy. I really couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't think it would be this soft. The other fleeces that I got from the same lady weren't even this soft and squishy. This is going to be absolutely lovely combed top. So squishy, so beautiful. And I don't think I mentioned earlier, this is Rommeldale wool, CVM Rommeldale. And after processing quite a few of these, it is turned into one of my favorite wools for sure. It is awesome. Here's our waist that we got. I used the Valkyrie extra fine combs to comb it. And this is our waist pile. It's quite a bit of waist, but you can use it for felting or noils. And then here's our squishy top. And that's the before. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my channel, Rain Fiber Arts, and follow me on Instagram. I have a Facebook. I'm going to be offering some stuff for sale there soon. And TikTok. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.